Hey guys, welcome back to Everlasting Summer, day 6. Sorry for the lack of uploads, I've just been really tired and stuff lately. So let's do day 6, I believe, maybe. I can't say that my morning was good. I woke up absolutely broken. The room was filled with the bright sunlight. Outside the window, birds were light-heartedly chirping. I reluctantly dragged myself into a sitting position and stretched. I slowly started to recall the events of the previous day. A trip, a silly ghost game, Ulyana falling asleep, and a kiss. I blushed immediately. It was so surprising that I've been knocked out of reality for a while. The main problem is, how should I treat her now? At first glance, nothing special had happened, but besides, she's the last girl in the whole camp from which one would expect such actions. She seemed to be, she seemed to me at best be a little sister, nothing more. But for her, apparently I was more than a big brother. Though perhaps I just imagined all that, and there was no hidden meaning, deep motives, or allusions to far-reaching conclusions in this kiss. Just an expression of gratitude. Ulyana is definitely capable of extraordinary deeds, and could have easily turned simple things into complicated ones. Finally, I decided to put off the matter till the time I could meet her face to face. The clock showed 11, meaning Olga didn't wake me up for breakfast. However, I shouldn't worry. There wasn't much time left till lunch. I took a bag of washing accessories and went to do my water procedures. I didn't meet anybody on the way. Probably all the pioneers are busy with their own things. The place near the basins was deserted too. Just 5 minutes later, I stood in front of the camp leader's cabin, thinking of what to do next. Nothing worthwhile had come to mind. I sat in a desk chair and possibly could have stayed there until lunch, but I was drawn from my trance by a familiar voice. Hi. I looked up and saw Slavia, who was smiling at me sweetly. Hi. You overslept again? Seems like it. That's no good. Perhaps. And where are you going? Actually, I was not really interested in Slavia's agenda for today, but I wanted to keep the conversation going. Well, I've got some things to do. I see. Silence followed. She was about to leave when suddenly I said, mind sitting with me for a while? Sure, why not? Slavia sat nearby. Something's worrying you, isn't it? No, why do you think so? I can read it on your face. She laughed softly. Not really. Although probably Slavia was right. Something really was worrying me. Obviously, I was worried about last night's events. Listen, do you have any little brothers or sisters? I do. And how do you get along? Pretty well. She smiled widely. And you? No, I don't. I said after a short pause. So why are you asking? I don't know, just... Do you always understand them? I try to. Sometimes I just cannot make out what children want. Suddenly I stopped for a moment. Slavia doesn't know that I'm actually much older than I look. To her, I'm a still child myself. Those who are younger. Why? Well, I cannot always understand the motivations of their actions. They often behave illogically. Weren't you as old as them some time ago? She looked at me with surprise. Of course I was. At that moment, it seemed to me that it had been a very long time ago, and when I looked at Ulyana, that time turned into a gulf of years. Well, think of yourself at that time. I was different. At least it seemed like that to me. If so, good for you. Slavia laughed again. And you? Did you also do stupid things? It depends on what age we are talking about. Well, let's say that you're 14, for instance. Well, different things were happening, she said thoughtfully. Okay, that's nice, but it still doesn't make anything clear. Maybe that's the way it should be? Maybe. Slavia stood up, wished me goodbye, and left. I closed my eyes and fell asleep. The sound of the bell calling for the pioneers for lunch woke me up. Although the sound was quiet and was coming from far away, my body worked like a clockwork automaton. In due time, I was standing near the door of the canteen. And that's where I met Ulyana. Hi there. Yeah. I already ate. She laughed brightly and ran away. I didn't stop her. After all, I had nothing to say to her. I took a meal and was already heading to my favorite place in the corner when suddenly someone grabbed me by the hand. Sit down, right here. Alyssa's voice sounded menacing, but at the same time somehow pleading. What happened? I got something to discuss with you, she said with a slightly softer tone. Okay. I sat down next to her. So what's the subject? You were there yesterday, when she played that dumb prank with the bag sheet? It was pointless to lie to Elisa. Yeah, I was there. That's, she laughed out loud. Why on earth did you do that? Elisa instantly became serious and gave me a level look. Why don't you ask her? No, I'm asking you now, so you have to talk. I don't know, I rasped. Or you better tell me, why didn't the camp leader react? How should she react? I think you know. I looked at her skeptically. Well, she did just not realize who it was. Well, I must admit Olga's deductive abilities leave much to be desired. And then it was you who brought her back last night. No Shakespearean elves did that, I said mockingly. What's the problem with that? No problem at all. Lisa stared at her plate and started to eat with concentration. Also, she ran off somewhere during the night and came back in that happy mood. And? Don't you know anything about that? Even if I do, why do you care? She gave me an instant gaze. I do care. I would have never thought that she could be concerned about someone besides herself. Nothing like that happened, if you'd like to know. No, it's not about that. Lisa replied shortly without looking at me. Probably was a bad idea to bring up this subject. By the way, what's that? Wait, what? What do you mean? What you just said. What's that I just said? I tried to joke around to confuse her. Hey, listen to me. I'm watching you. Oh, I'm so scared, I said roughly, looking at my tray and left the table. Definitely wasn't afraid of Lisa's words, even though they sounded like a threat. In fact, I was more interested by her concern for Ulyana. Of all the local inhabitants, she was surely the last one you would expect to worry about another person. I walked out of the canteen and into a real furnace. The sun blazed so ruthlessly that nobody could stay under her scorching rays. It was about time to find some cool and shady place, and the beach seemed like the best place for this. Oddly enough, the beach was not crowded. Perhaps most of the pioneers were scared of the scorching heat, or maybe they just decided to take a nap after lunch. I didn't bring my swimming trunk, so I just sat under an umbrella and began to watch the swimmers. There was no one I knew, and it was better that way, as I had an opportunity to sit quietly and think. 5.5 days had already passed since my arrival, and what has changed? There were a couple of unexplained, but completely harmless events, but all in all, it was just regular pioneer camp, and this was making me even more frightened. What's going to happen next? Another day, another week, and what's going to happen after this session's over? I've got nowhere to return to. Maybe this time I hadn't been born yet, or even worse. After thinking of all this over for a few minutes, I went back to yesterday evening. Strange, but I worry about it much more than before. On the other hand, I wanted to say something to make the situation clear, but on the other hand, I avoided any meeting with Ulyana by all means, afraid of making a fool of myself with the wrong word or gesture. I closed my eyes and dozed off for a while. When I woke up, I saw Lena by my side. How long have you been sitting here? I asked in surprise. Not too long. Strange how she did not wake me up. Did something happen? I don't know why, but my sixth sense was telling me that she's eager to say something but doesn't dare. No, what about you? Neither. Are you sure? Of course, I smiled. Then what do you want to talk about? Why would you think I want to talk? It seems like it. Nah, not really. A long silence ensued. Do you have any little brothers or sisters? No, what about you? I don't. So why would you ask that? Sometimes I think that I don't understand children at all. Me too. Lena's face didn't express anything, but it's probably got to be like that. What do you mean? How should I treat them then? I treat them the way you think is right. Well, that's the whole idea. I don't know what is right and what is wrong. The more I think about it, the more you'll regret the mistake. Well, that's the truth. That's true, but it doesn't help. I was somewhat surprised by such profound words from Lena. Of course, she said all that without a trace of shyness or modesty, and without any inappropriate openness, but still, You mean that I should follow the first idea and I get off the top of my head? I laughed. As the saying goes, your first thought is the right one. Do you believe that? I don't know. We sat there for some time, then she stood up. Well, I've got to go. Thanks for the conversation. Don't mention it. Lena smiled faintly. I lay down and stared at the burning sun. Your first thought is right, huh? And what if my first thought was to kiss her back? By the way, that was the first thought that came to me at that time. I tried painfully hard to remember, but nothing worked. Not even scraps of thought surfaced in my brain. However, in this situation, I could only follow Lisa's advice since it happened so suddenly. The sun was setting slowly, so I rose and went towards the canteen, as my stomach told me that even the participants in such a fantastic story should have regular meals. Somebody called to me at the square. It was electronic. He ran up to me, caught his breath, and said, "Semyon." "Yeah, that's probably me. Take it." He handed me some kind of key. "What's this?" "It's the key to our clubhouse, and why would I want it?" Olga asked me to, considering that I will not be returning here today, or there today. So give it to Shurik. He has his own business, so take it yourself. I can't. Why not? Listen, just take it. Why would I need it? What am I going to do with it? You'll give it back to me later. Listen. Well, I have to go. He shoved the key into my hand and ran. No matter how you look at it, he is definitely strange. However, I didn't pay significant attention to this event and just put the key in my pocket. I got to the canteen even before dinner. Fortunately, it was already open, but no food was being served. I took my favorite seat in the farthest corner and concentrated on playing with the toothpick. Soon I got the feeling that someone was standing next to me. Raised my eyes and spotted Olga. We just stared at each other for some time. "Do you need something?" Finally, I broke the silence. "You know, Semyon, sure I understand everything, but..." "What?" I asked, surprised. "Did you think I didn't notice your absence last night?" Absence is quite an overstatement. I'd rather just say I went out for a moment. "Well, so what? What's the matter?" I thought that it was nothing, too, but I determined to check. The Camilla's expression was increasingly heading towards a frown. "So have you checked?" I still couldn't understand what she was up to. "Yeah, I checked. And you know what? For a true pioneer, it is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's disgraceful, especially with her." She flushed red with exertion. "I don't even want to hear your pitiful excuses." If I got idea what she was talking about, dawned on me. "So what happened? Would you care to explain?" "And how you got the nerve to play innocent, you with Ulyana." That all became crystal clear. "I got two things to tell you. First," I started getting steamed up, "nothing of that sort happened there, and I'm the last one who has any relationship to this situation. And you think that. Second," I really interrupted her, "who told you that?" In fact, the answer was obvious. Ulyana would not do that, and if she had decided to once again play a trick on me, she would have done it much earlier. From the time spent here, I'd begun to understand her well. And that leaves only one possible candidate. Why does it matter? No, it does. Would you care to explain your behavior then? Olga seemed to be a little taken aback by my vehemence. There's nothing to explain. I quickly got up and headed to the exit of the canteen. Semyon, wait. I heard the camp leader's weak prattle behind me. If you act decisively with her, then she is not that confident. So now I have things to get straight with Lisa. While her pranks hadn't concerned me, or only concerned me indirectly, I could bear it. Just thinking about it, I'd even start to consider her not such a bad person. I met Slavia at the square. "Do you know where Lisa is?" "Yes, I do. What's the matter?" "Just tell me." Mom was sudden, obviously rough, but it seems that she didn't pay it any attention. "She was at the music club." Slavia was right, and I met Lisa at the music club. However, she was accompanied by Miku. "Mind explaining yourself?" I didn't waste time on any pleasantries. "No, what makes you think so?" Lisa gave me a cute smile. "Oh, Simon, hi. How nice that you're here too. Maybe the three of us can play something. I have a new song. You know it. So, it is so funny. I am sure you'll like it, I promise." Or we can choose to know. Miku entered the conversation. "Could you?" "What?" She looked at me with a smile of uncomprehending child. From that moment, I understood what she exactly had in her mind. Little rabbits, teddy bears, pussycats, but no sign of intelligence. "I need to talk to Elisa," I said in a tone that broke in no disagreement. "Okay, maybe later." It looked like she was upset, though I didn't care. "So, I don't understand what you mean," Elisa said, offended. "And anyway, I have to go." She turned around and got ready to leave. Tried to stop her verbally. Hey, not so fast. She stopped and turned to me. I'm not here to kill you. My words sounded like a joke, but Lisa flinched. Who told the camp leader that Ulyana came to me at night? I don't know, she pleaded piteously. We discussed it this morning, didn't we? She said nothing, but continued to look at me with fear in her eyes. And mostly important, what's the purpose of telling 1,000 lies? I really don't know what you're talking about. Her eyes filled with tears. Suddenly I felt as if I'd been struck by lightning. What if she isn't guilty? And why did I immediately think of her? Anyone else could have easily seen us at night. You never know, even Ulyana could tell anyone. Are you sure? I asked harshly. Yes. I thought for a second, and this time it was just enough for Lisa to escape. Now the only true solution is to talk to Olga again. I found her on the canteen porch. By that time the sun had nearly disappeared behind the horizon. You came back after all, she began. Olga, could you tell me honestly who told you about it? I had just spoken to Lisa, and it's not her. Ulyana wouldn't do it herself, so who? In fact, myself, I didn't realize why I need to know this. Initially, I was just mad at Elisa, but now... Well, she hesitated. Some strange girl. But this does it. And strange girl? Well, yes. Not from our camp, it seemed. Why did she tell you about this? How should I know? Olga, but this is... I took a deep breath and turned her away. Just why does she have to obviously lie? Although maybe she was trying to protect somebody. Let's say, damn, I could not even imagine. Alright. I said quietly and walked briskly away from the canteen. Absolutely no desire to continue listening to Olga's stupid lies. Our so-called camp leader. I walked aimlessly out, completely lost in thought. Are you on guard duty? I heard a cheerful voice from behind. It was Ulyana. Nothing special, just... Seemed like there was no chance to find out who Olga's informer was, and yesterday's incident was hushed up somehow, so I decided not to think about it. What do you have planned for the evening? Nothing, I guess. After all my frantic attempts to uncover the truth, I felt some inexplicable guilt before Lisa and Ulyana. What exactly the guilt before Ulyana was completely unclear, though. Then I have a suggestion. What is it? I brought a video cassette from home. Her eyes flashed conspiratorially. Screw my grammar. And I couldn't even remember when the last time I had watched or heard something recorded on cassette was. With a cool movie on it. Where would we get a VCR here? The word came to me from my past, and I decided to test whether my guesses about which time period I had been placed in were right. At the Cybernetics Club, of course. There's nothing there, I said confidently. What about in the back room? She was right. It could be there. Well, maybe. But anyway, it's too late and everything is closed. The strange feeling of guilt I felt in front of Ulyana wasn't giving me a chance to refuse immediately. We can get in there through the window. She grinned mischievously. Well, you know. Maybe you're right. Wish we could get a key, mused Ulyana. But I had one in my pocket, and I just remembered about it. Now that you mention it, yes, I got a key. Next time I better think before I speak. That's good then. I'll quickly run to get the tape. You wait here and I'll be right back. She disappeared before I can even open my mouth. As strange as she wasn't surprised that the key to the Cybernetics Club mysteriously happened to be in my pocket at the right place and time. But in any case, I have decided what to do next. The most right and logical thing was not to go anywhere with her. But my guilt got to me. Though it seems that there could be nothing criminal in watching a movie with her. But on the other hand, with Ulyana, even the most harmless things can turn into a thriving circus, at the very least. I was already starting to forget about what happened this evening, about my frantic attempts to get the truth from Elisa and Olga. And just in a couple of minutes she returned. Having second thoughts, I looked at Ulyana and felt a bit uncomfortable. Are we going? Listen, you know your ideas are, let's say, not entirely safe. And in the end, everything will be badly again. Are you scared? No, I'm not. I'm just a grown man, and I'm not interested in such games. Grown man? She laughed. Indeed, I forgot that I looked 17 at most. What makes you think so? It's really hard to accept, but I had nothing to say to that. Think about it. The whole time I spent here, I did not display any particular forethought, nor life experience, nor a cold, balanced assessment of the situation. Though the other question is, did I ever show those in that life? And in fact, even if I think, I would recall some examples, of course, but, okay, let's go. I was so offended by Ulyana's words that I asked, and what is a grown man in your opinion? one who is responsible for his actions, one who does not do anything without thinking about the consequences, a person who is capable of taking good care of not only himself but also of others. And all that doesn't describe you, that's for sure. I tried to laugh it off. I'm not pretending to be like that anyway, grinned Ulyana. Yes, she was absolutely right. I did not possess any of those qualities, but I always thought that not being 17 is all that was required. It seems in general there is no difference between me and other people, and if I wish, I could be exactly like they are. Is that all wrong? No, in fact, no, because in this camp I tried to behave in a most logical, sensible, and proper way, like an adult. But even if Ulyana says differently, then how can I get out of here? We went in. It took some time for Ulyana to find the light switch. Presto. Well done. Bravo. I exaggerated, clapped my hands. Hey, stop making fun of me, she pouted. Okay, what's next? Here. Ulyana went up to the door in the second room, hesitated for a moment, and pushed it open. There wasn't much space inside. It seemed more like this room was used for storage. Boxes piled on top of each other had formed some sort of Alps in miniature. Various devices scattered here. It reminded me of the chaotic brainstorm raging in the head of a scientist. Bookshelves on the far wall made it clear that this was not a simple storage for unused junk. To my right, there was a TV set with a video player sitting next to it. Interesting, they were not Soviet. I bet they were Japanese, at least going by their appearance. Not very surprising. In those days, or more accurately for me these days, imports already existed. What did I tell you? Ulyana smiled triumphantly. Yeah. Have you seen anything like that before? I have. Perhaps I got a VCR too. Probably it's lying somewhere on the mezzanine in my house. Seems like you're not surprised at all. Why should I be surprised? A Japanese TV set, video player. You look like you often see such things. Not too often lately, I agreed lazily. You are so gloomy. Nevertheless, okay, take it. She handed me a cassette. I turned it over in my hands, but did not find any sticker or labels on it. So it's on it. I don't know exactly, mused Ulyana, but I'm sure it's something very interesting. Soon the logo of a well-known American film company appeared on the screen. Here, watch. Ulyana even started fidgeting impatiently. I'm watching. A few minutes later, I realized the tape contained a famous film from the 80s. It was about a robot from the future, sent to kill someone in the past, so in the years in between the hero wouldn't be born. Interesting coincidence. You could say I was sent from the future, too. So what, my mission is to kill someone from among the local residents? I could not help but laughing. What's so funny? Ulyana looked at me reproachfully. Oh, no, nothing. Seems as if you don't like the movie. The movie's alright. I've seen it several times. How can that be? Her eyes widened in surprise. Well, my friend gave me a cassette. Ulyana stared at me intently at me. Anyway, keep watching. I pointed at the screen. When the film was about halfway through, I heard someone trying to open the front door. It is said that when a person has one of their senses weakened, the others are amplified. I was quite blind, but could hear perfectly. Lights off, I whispered. What? Turn off the lights. Ulyana realized that it wasn't time to argue with me and rushed to the switch. While I pressed the pause button, I heard footsteps in the other room and saw a flashlight flickering under the door. I wonder who decided to sneak into the Cybernetics Club at night. They're not here. It was the voice of Olga. Soon the front door slammed shut, and I sighed with relief. See that? Again, that's because of you. What? You don't stare at me in surprise. Why else would she come here at night? She's definitely searching for us. Lisa likely doesn't care about your absence, but I'm registered at the camp leader's cabin. She thought for a while. Well, so what? So what? Why are you constantly looking for trouble? It's almost as if you like it. It's more fun this way. Is it fun when you're constantly scolded and punished? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. She laughed merrily. Eventually, there are also rules. Well, up until now, you've evaded serious consequences, but who knows what could happen next? It could all end badly. You grumble like a granny, she said, offended. And who said recently that I could not be called an adult? Forget it. Let's finish the movie. I decided not to argue with her. In the end, we were already on Olga's list, and an hour later, an hour earlier, does it really matter? At each scary scene, Ulyana jumped, screamed, and grabbed me by the hand. I was not so keen on the film, but still pretended that I was also interested. Apart from the evil robot, there was a good man sent from the future to prevent his evil deeds. I'm not here to go become a ruthless killing machine, but on the contrary, to change or prevent something. To prevent some event, for example, or to stop someone from wrongdoing. The analogy is fairly interesting, but it is not based on any real facts. I don't have a shotgun in my hands, I am not wearing a leather jacket, and I haven't got a motorcycle to ride. I haven't decided, I don't even have sunglasses. Look. The next chase with shooting and destruction of various types of wheeled and propellered vehicles was unfolding on screen. So do you think the good guy will win? Of course, I knew the answer. Obviously, good always triumphs. She said seriously. If we consider that Ulyana often succeeded in her silly ventures, the meaning of the word good gets seriously twisted. Wait, but you've already watched it. Yeah, just want to know your opinion. Soon the film came to an end. Then in the final scenes, Ulyana ran around the room, trying to get a better view of everything happening on the screen without missing anything. Huh, she gasped with relief when the ending credits started. Liked it? You need to ask, of course. That's good. And I can see you didn't really. She squinted slightly. Well, it's a film from kids after all. Ah, really? Well, yeah, so what? Nothing. She yawned and sat on the floor with her back against the pile boxes. It's probably time to go to sleep. I'm tired and I won't go anywhere. As you wish. I better go then. Hey, wait. Ulyana immediately jumped up and grabbed me by the hand. Will you leave me here all alone? Well, if you want, should I carry you to your cabin? I said uncertainly. In the end, I was already experienced at that. No, I want to sleep here. She rummaged in the box next to her and pulled out some sort of blankets and pillows. Again, the same story. I sighed. Just think, Olga's already looking for us. If we spend all night here. Well, firstly, she's looking for you. That has nothing to do with me, laughed Ulyana. Even if that's so, then you'll be caught too. What makes you say that? And if I do get caught, that's okay. I'm used to it. Why are you so stubborn? It's only a couple of 100 meters to your cabin. As well as that, you couldn't say that Ulyana was completely exhausted. I'm so tired. She wrapped herself in a blanket and turned away from me and began to fake loud snores. Okay then, see you tomorrow. I tried to leave, but Ulyana grabbed my hand again. Well, now what? She didn't say anything. She looked as if I'd scared her. Right then, what I should do was completely unclear. Our little cassette adventure was idiotic from the beginning, but now it was beyond my comprehension. I had no idea what the logic behind her actions was, but the meaning of the motivation was. However, despite all this, I couldn't firmly say no. Something stopped me, maybe a sense of duty or pity, or the patience which must be shown was communicating with children. Okay, what do you want from me? Go to sleep with me. Seems like it. I've seen it somewhere already. Well, let's assume. I turned off the light and nestled beside her. Good thing it was summertime. Otherwise, sleeping on the wooden floor was not the best idea. The lack of mattress is not even worth mentioning. Why did you agree so easily? I could hear resentment in her voice. You asked, so I did. In fact, I was completely convinced Ulyana will fall asleep quickly as always, and I will carry her to her cabin. Basically, it's a good plan despite the fact that I will again serve as a beast of burden. Hey, talk to me. Just sleep. You are the one who wanted to. Just talk. About what? Tell me something interesting about yourself. Funny stories from your life. My life is not that action-packed. Nothing to recall at all. Even if I had something telling her was not the best idea. Nothing at all. Can't be that bad, I turned to Ulyana. She was lying with her eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. It can, trust me. But that's so boring. From time to time. She was silent for a while and then smiled and said, But here you had fun. Well, that's true, I laughed. Will you remember this camp? First, I need to get off here. Of course I will. And the others, I will. And me, and you. I said it with an absolute even tone, to be honest, without even really thinking about the meaning of her questions. And I will, whispered Ulyana. Immediately I felt her head dropping on my chest, and her hand wrapping around my neck. Comfortable? Yeah, she murmured. You haven't found a better place? She looked at her head slightly. Well, let her lie like that. And in the end, maybe she'll fall asleep even faster. Probably no more than 5 minutes passed out before I decided to check on her and lightly tugged on her shoulder. What? She asked without looking up. I noticed an unusual note in her voice. Why aren't you sleeping? Look who's talking. Then time was passing treacherously slowly. I decided to wait at least another 10 minutes before the next time I checked. But the seconds seemed to turn to be hours. My eyes began to slowly close. I struggled to stay awake. I blinked for a moment and woke up only to realize that my state was close to unconsciousness. Maybe just close your eyes for a minute? What's so terrible about that? The thought flashed through my head, and immediately I drifted off. Okay. Black screen. Is there any text coming up? Okay, day 7. Day 6 was actually pretty short, it seems. It was a lot easier to get through than the other ones were. But we're going to save the game here, or whatever you guys want to call visual novels, games or not. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys on day 7.